Hello Scorpio, here is a general look at your solar chart for June 2016, and there's been a lot of vagueness around, a lot of ambiguity and lack of clarity. There's been this Jupiter-Neptune aspect which is creating this vibrational wave, and it is not very grounded. It's very quite abstract and theoretical and hypothetical, so it means there's a temptation to idealize certain people or ideas, and failing to see the thing in its true light, or warts and all, or the person. And this is also a time for escapism, or for just things kind of hanging in the air and not getting the clarity, perhaps expanding too far too fast. So it's a good thing that we're getting some Saturn coming in this June, so that's good. Even though the angle is still quite challenging, it means that we're going to be able to get our feet more on the ground with the facts of things, although it's Neptune, and Neptune always just has that haze, that kind of sort of I don't know, it's a kind of a veneer or a camouflage, so we don't quite know, shall I go this way with that person or that idea, or shall I go the other way? It's just a little bit like that. It's like driving down a road and not quite knowing, should I follow this curve that looks like it's going around to the left or to the right, or coming up to a crossroads and not being able to see it until you're on top of it, that kind of thing, on certain roads anyway. This is the time when there's a lot of dreams and idealizations wafting around, a lot of potential, and a lot of energy which is on that higher vibrational level as well, which we don't know how to tap into very well on the lower vibrational levels, if it's about kind of material things, physical things, if it's about abstracts or isms and ologies, politics, or belief systems of various kinds. So we don't quite know how to use that energy, but we should strive, now that we've got Saturn coming in, to be realistic without being too pessimistic. That's a fine line, because that cynicism can cut in there, and then we bring down our vibration immediately, and then that's undermining, and then we get sucked into something that's maybe not worth the paper it's written on, basically. So this is a period when there's a danger of getting things out of proportion and shooting ourselves in the foot. This is a time to balance the ultimate ideal with how it can be ploddingly achieved in the now, at this point on the timeline. The other thing that's going on, of course, is that Mars is retrograde, and will be retrograde until the 29th. So any major offensive or major change or major challenge, either from us or to us, is likely to just kind of never really get going, or get going really slowly over maybe months, or maybe even years, depending on lots of other factors. But yeah, never really get going with its original impulse, its original kind of goal. So this is the time to look at what we have now and say, okay, how can we work with this to improve and modify on the timeline? It's not like for a major assault, a major initiative at this time. So if a major initiative or assault is happening at this time, then it's likely that it'll take a long time. I'm using that word time a lot, but it'll be spread over a very long, sluggish, probably slow-moving period before it kind of begins to resemble coming together in the way of the ideal that we first had about it. Okay, so now is the time to drive steadily forwards with goals. Either, don't let anybody convince you that it's not. Well, hey, I'm trying to convince you that it is. So you have to go with your gut, and your famous gut. You go with that. Now, some Saturn-Neptune suggestions is, if you're working with the arts or spirituality or healing or for a good cause, or for the common good, then you can do quite well with this one here, because Saturn is coming in and giving the muscle to this very kind of amorphous, elusive, dreamlike quality of Neptune. So working with the law of attraction in a steady, consistent kind of a way is likely to get results. And that is, you know, if the law of attraction is to do with having an expectation of something, manifesting that you, and realizing something that you really, really want, or that you would like to see happening in the world. It's not thinking it, it's sometimes we can think it, but underneath we're not really expecting it to happen. Then it's not going to work. It's got to be expectation. Like you know, children play with their teddies and their dolls and their cars and their little airplanes or whatever. They're in it, they know it's real, you know. So we have to get back to that a bit to make this law of attraction stuff work. You could be doing that. It's a great time to be connecting with nature, to be connecting with the higher levels or the centers in your own mind, really. And that isn't analytical at all. Now, Saturn is very, very good at helping you realize something which is abstract, which is hypothetical, and for it to be coming true. However, this is a Mars retrograde time, so there can't be any like major like leaps forward and explosive happenings at the moment, because it tends to just turn into, you know, that firework that didn't go up very high. Right, okay, so now there's that, which, and this is a great time to also, sorry, just to finish on that, a great time to be doing whatever uplifts you, refines your nature, soothes your heart, feeds your soul. This is a great time to be engaged in something which is not escapist, but which allows you to become absorbed into something which is taking you out of maybe this very predictable time-bound world for a bit. Also anything to do with the sea and water, actually, as well. And anything to do with helping the needy, whether that is the needy, or whether that is, you know, in your personal life, you know, somebody that just needs you more around, or it could be, we could switch that around, you know, you are the one that is needing the support of somebody else a little bit more. Now, there is more written up about that on my website if you want to check that out, DianaGarland.com. Now, the first week your energies might drop, or the confidence might drop. I usually pick out the things that might trip you up. There's a lot of good things going on, actually. You've got a fantastic Jupiter and Neptune angle coming to your sun sign. I mean, it's really, really good. So you can make dreams come true. You really, really can. But you've got to be there with your heart and your soul. And if you're doing that, then everything is good. Or everything is likely to end up being good. So now, this is the time to just, I don't know, don't schedule anything too important or too heavy on you or too sort of taxing in the first week, because of a little bit of confusion, a little bit of lack of clarity, but also more on your shoulders there. And then at the very, very end of the month, that's quite intense there in the last maybe day, possibly 2 days, into the first day of July, or maybe possibly 2, so we could say 2 or 4. And there is, for some it will be 2, for some it will be 4. There it is likely to make you feel more sensitive, more deeply touched or moved, whether that's in a good way or in an annoying way, can't say. But it could also be to do with property, money, that kind of thing. So there might be some kind of change or breakthrough there, or shifting there in the dynamic of what's going on. Okay, which is ultimately probably a good thing. But it depends. Okay, so that that's another thing, you know, about the planets and the movement of the planets in the sky, is that it isn't necessarily the planets. It's how we react to the positions of the planets. So they're just doing their thing. They're just like wind and rain and sunshine and snow, and they're just weather. That's all they are. Okay, so what else is going on? This is a gear shifting phase. Like I was just saying, you know, there might be kind of a shift of gears going on there. Up until the 21st, gear shifting kind of phase. But also, you know, your feelings can be touched. You might be rating somebody or something, or valuing somebody or something. It could be that you may be sounding things out. You could be very much more intuitive now. Even you might really begin to notice that you're picking up something. Could be like that. You could be musing over some deeper issues. It might be around property and money as well. It could be around that, or it could be around a relationship. This is good in the relationship sense, though. You know, you could be very much involved with another. There could be more involvement there, more intimacy there. You and another could be feeling very passionate, not only about each other, or it could be about you both feeling passionate about something else, some other idea that you're really going after. You're really chasing it. Negotiations could go in your favor now. That's up until the 18th, so bear that in mind. Negotiations could go in your favor. And if it's about shared space, shared property, shared monies, you know, buying, selling, renting, leasing, I suppose as well, all of that can come into this mix here. And the general sort of vibe of Sun and Venus together is, you know, in your favor, I would say. Jupiter is also in a very, very progressive area for you guys. So, yeah, you want to be a little bit more going. Maybe that's going in your natal chart. Who can say? So now, but definitely don't let it go past. You know, make hay while the sun shines. Now, Mercury is in your opposite sign up until the 13th, so that means very much a rapport with another, or an information exchange. You know, you're picking up little nuggets of information, or maybe you're in a negotiation type situation, or in a consultation type situation. It could be. You could be seen as the agent or go-between, or you could very much be, you know, consulting with an agent of some kind as well yourself. You could consider that information to be valuable. And then from the 13th, Mercury comes into the same area as the Sun and Venus, having to be strategic, having to get underneath the surface of things. Research is a really, really good, strong keyword for Mercury being in this area here, but also feeling quite passionate about somebody or something, feelings running deep there. Feelings running deep. But there is nothing about that which would lead me to think that it's going to, you know, it would be negative for you. Especially given the position of Jupiter, and also we could even bring in Neptune there, because Neptune, even though I don't speak about Neptune for you, Scorpio is in a really good angle for you, and it means, yes, more support needed because of children maybe, or loved ones. It can also mean that it can also mean that, you know, a possibility of going after a dream, being speculative, but obviously don't gambling what you can't afford to lose, but being speculative and maybe, again, working with the law of attraction, getting that to come true, because the tendencies are swirling, the potentials are swirling more in your direction. And they're not just going to, well, every now and again this can happen to people, but mostly I'm going to say, you know, you're not going to get it on a plate. You've got to, you've got to tap into the energy in the way that the energy can be capitalized upon. So it's a gear shifting phase, and then we have Venus there, which is great. So that's wonderful. And then we got Venus moving out of there on the 18th, meaning supportive or warm relationship with somebody who's maybe traveling, or maybe you're traveling, maybe they're far away, maybe you're far away, or maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's just with somebody who's like an expert or a teacher, or maybe it's with, again, this consultant sort of person that I was speaking of. This is a great time to beat the drum on something, to put the word out there, to make those connections, and connect especially with those who've got a knowledge and expertise in your favor, you know, a specialist person. And you can be seen also at this time as a specialist person, somebody who's got the knowledge and expertise as well, but maybe on a different subject. Who knows? Now, I did say Mars is going retrograde. That's important. You might have to do some rethinking on things, but if you're canny, you can do well. This is affecting mostly you guys born in the third week, guys and gals, of course. I mean both. You know, I use guys for gals, but anyway. So and then the third week, or with from 22 degrees rising, you'll be feeling the effects the most. So Mars is in your sign. So this is these are goals close to your heart that we're talking about here. This is you being decisive and taking action on something which is really right in your own backyard. You know, it's very personal. There could be hustle and bustle going on around you. More stamina may be needed, so you've got to pace yourself sometimes, Scorpio. You know, even though you have amazing regenerative qualities, you still do have to have the humility to understand that you're just in a human body here. But actually, you know, apart from Mars tending to run us ragged, you can get a huge amount done. You can cover a lot of ground with Mars in your sign. Yes, it is going backwards up until the 29th, so probably better after the 29th. As Mars is about initiating things, whether you choose it or not, this is a time to be more dynamic and go for it, whatever it is. Not in any major challenge, like a competition or like a major sort of attack, like a real aggressive thing, which is that Mars side. But if you just strongly working with your will towards something and pulling in whatever the resources or the advice or the, you know, the allies you need, but you're really going after something, then this is the good time to do it. But it's not like you're going to have this dramatic leap forward, I don't think, until after the 29th, if you do get one at all, because you might not be at that stage in things anyway. But as Mars is about initiating things, whether you choose it or not, this is time to be more dynamic. You might have to be more dynamic. You might be feeling tired. You might not be in the mood, you know, but you just got to be more decisive. And you get plunged into situations which demand that energy of yours and get you working harder. And that is just not just this month, but it'll be some of next month as well. Okay, actually I could just tell you about that. That is going to be all of next month as well, right up until the very beginning of August. So yes, and Mars will be going forwards over that time. Okay, so I'm going off at a tangent. I need to hurry up here. So Saturn is in you know, you're dealing with jumping through the hoops in the material physical world. Gradually this side of thing will take the shape that you desire. Scorpios born the 1st to the 6th of November with 10 to 14 degrees rise, you're going to feel that energy the most. But more effort needed to manage the piggy bank and the property side of life as well. And then until this September, Jupiter is in a fortunate angle to your sun sign, very progressive, helping you to learn and grow through new associations, new circles, new business circles or social circles and friendships. Very much so, building the database. And you Scorpios rising, or Scorpios are born 5th to the 10th of November, or with 3 to 18 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And that's it for June. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those, and also check out this material on DianaGarland.com if you want to. And I will see you the next time.